If history handed out awards for backstabbing, bootlicking, and begging for your life, Lavrentiy Beria would win them all. This man didn't just live in the shadows of Joseph Stalin's regime, he thrived under it. But when it came time to show an ounce of courage, Beria folded like a paper map in a thunderstorm. In today's video, we are talking about Lavrentiy Beria, the biggest coward who ever lived. Born into a Georgian farming family, Lavrentiy Beria joined the Cheka in 1920. The Cheka was the first Soviet secret police force, so like the prequel to the KGB. Beria started his career doing what he did best, ratting people out and slithering his way up the Soviet ladder. He quickly became Stalin's go-to man for purges. He was basically the guy who signed off on torture and execution of millions of his own citizens to the gulags. Now that's bad enough, but to make things even more cowardly, Beria never got his hands dirty. He killed in the most cowardly way possible, sitting behind a desk, ticking boxes. While other Soviets were bleeding on the Eastern Front, Beria was in his cushy office, sipping tea and deciding who lived or died with a stroke of a pen. His enemies, dead. His friends, also dead, if it suited him. The guy made betrayal an art form. He was so backstabbing and spineless that it's almost admirable. But like all cowards, Beria was scared that it was going to happen to him. In order to keep himself safe, he would constantly switch allegiances, say whatever Stalin wanted to hear, and throw anyone under the bus just to stay alive. Beria was the kind of guy to snitch on his own mother if it meant he was safe. Even when Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union in 1941, a moment where real leaders stepped up, Beria stayed as far away from danger as humanly possible. Now Stalin, for all his faults, and trust me, there were a lot, at least faced the music eventually. But Beria, he clung to Stalin's coattails like a child at a fireworks show. Beria ruled through fear, but couldn't handle fear himself. The second that the power dynamic shifted, he panicked, and oh boy, did it shift. When Stalin finally died in 1953, Beria thought that it was his time to shine. He stepped out from the shadows, puffed out his chest, and started acting like he was in charge. He even proposed softening some of Stalin's harshest policies, after personally enforcing them for years. Spoiler, no one bought the act. Within months, Nikita Khrushchev and the rest of the Soviet leadership had enough of Beria's two-faced routine. During a meeting, soldiers arrived and took Beria away. Did Beria take it like a man? Well, I wouldn't be making this video if he did. The iron-fisted enforcer of Stalinism showed his true colours. Beria got on his knees like a common whore and begged for his life, even resorting to crying like a little girl. He offered to be a loyal servant to anyone who would spare him. He even tried to spin a sob story about his family. Now imagine that, the same guy who signed off on millions of families being murdered was now using his own family as a shield. But none of this worked. Beria was executed in 1953. No last stand, no strong final words, just tears rolling down his cheeks and his little legs shaking. He probably pissed himself too. Now, I can't prove that, but he was the kind of guy who would, so let's just say that he pissed himself. So, what makes Beria the biggest coward who ever lived? Well, it's not just that he avoided danger, it's that he built his power on fear, betrayed everyone to protect himself, and collapsed the moment he faced real consequences. He wasn't just afraid to die, he was afraid to stand for anything. He ruled like a lion and died like a weasel. If history is full of villains, Beria is the one who proves that sometimes the most dangerous people aren't the bold or the brave. They are weak men behind a desk. Now remember the eternal words of Seneca. All cruelty springs from weakness. Thank you for watching and have a great day.